And welcome to another episode of the Asian Not Asian podcast, the podcast with all of your favorite Asian friends. I'm Mike Nguyen.
I'm Jenny Arimoto.
And we're coming to you from The Matrix, which is what Zoom is.
Yes.
Because I'm coming in to you. I plugged in my mic setup directly into my brainstem. Mm-hmm. Did you do that, Jenny?
Not today. I've been really busy.
Not today.
I've been really busy. I had brunch, so I didn't have time.
Brunch.
But next time.
I couldn't. Agent Smith, I couldn't jack into the Matrix today. I
had to have my tiger shrimp frittata. Yeah.
Is that what you had?
I did. I had a tiger shrimp frittata, open face, which isn't a frittata open faced already? I don't know why I was really confused by it, but it was just a normal frittata. It was delicious.
There's too many adjectives in that brunch.
Sorry to confuse you. Yeah.
Open face tiger style brunch. Okay. Yes. No, it's awesome. Welcome to the Asian Not Asian podcast. We're coming at you from Zoom. We got a great guest for you today. Before we get started, just a couple of quick announcements up top. If you are in New York, as always, we got Hack City. That's the second Friday of every month. It's at Union Hall in Brooklyn. Please come out. It's a stand-up show. Me and Jenny are there. Think this will come out by then. We've got all sorts of great people. We've got Irene Tu is going to be there. We got Dylan Adler. We got Jordan Leung, who is, I guess he's famous now. Do you know him?
No.
He was just some dude, some kid. He was just some kid, and now he's out in Hong Kong crushing it. He took the New York skills and became better than all of us. So he'll be there. It'll be a lot of fun. And here's the thing: if you're in San Francisco, I will be in San Francisco. I'm going to be doing a show there in San Francisco, June 22nd. If you go to it'll be at the Setup. So if you search the Setup. San Francisco, I'll be at the Valencia room, and it'll be me and there's a couple other people, but it's going to be great. I'm going to be doing, my thing. I would love to meet you guys. June 22nd, I believe it's at 7, but don't quote me on that yet, but I will be out there. June 22nd will be a lot of fun. Please come check that out. Also if you're on, if you're interested in supporting this podcast, you got to go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod. And, one of the things we do if you become a Patreon member is we give you a backstory. Right, Jenny? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're getting pretty good at it.
Really good.
We're getting really good at it. We're running out of backstories.
I will say... we kind of recycle 3 backstories over and over again. Yeah, and I think that's more revealing of who I'm spending time with. They're tropes of people in my life.
Okay. So they're I'm an unemployed tech person.
Unemployed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, that's one.
Are an artist. They had a life crisis in their 20s
I have rich
or
parents.
30s.
Okay, yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's always the same. And then sometimes I say you're wearing linen pants to kind of spice it up,
Linen pants.
Yeah, or you have cool trousers. I feel like I call people having cool trousers a lot.
Yeah, people don't wear pants anymore.
I don't know anything else, so I just keep going in circles.
If you want to get in on one of these 3 backstories, then you go to patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod. Today, we're going to be shouting out our newest Patreon member, Andrea Wang, which I hope it's not the Andrea Wang I know. Is it?
That's what I was thinking. That was the first person that kind of popped up in my head. So I'm trying to not describe that person in case it's not. Because we all know 4 Andrea Wangs, don't you think?
Yeah. If it is the Andrea Wang we know, please do not give us your money. Your entire personality. We watched your stand-up because she was on the Andrea Wang we're thinking of.
We know, yeah. I was gonna say, don't give us your money. You don't have to worry about us. Not that we're worried about you, but
no,
she's
I'm worried
living
about
in a basement.
She did Hack City the last time, and she was super funny. But her entire thing, her whole personality is I live in a basement.
Yeah, okay? I know. Her whole thing was living in a basement.
If you live below the surface of the planet, you cannot contribute to the Patreon. That's a soft rule I'm going to try to enforce, which is if you are,
this is when the Asian parent energy really jumps in, when we're like, don't spend your money on stupid things like this Patreon.
Please. Okay. I dated a girl once who lived underground, and it was a weird relationship. All right. Okay. We kept stealing people from the surface to eat. That was before Seamless. So, but Andrea, if you're not the comedian, we're gonna say, you know what? Maybe you got linen pants on. You know, you work at a.
I was gonna say she just bought her first house.
Oh wow!
She's very successful. This Andrea lives above ground.
There's a lot of sunlight. Above ground.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
She just bought her first house. I was gonna say, but is realizing that buying a house didn't bring her happiness in the way she thought it would. And that's okay. Yeah. So then she took it the next step, the thing that really made her happy. Yeah. She rented it out and became a landlord. Boom. Yeah. Now she's happy. And now
passive
she's
income.
Good. She's feeling good. Yeah.
Now she's feeling good. Well, Andrea Wang, if you are the Andrea Wang, which is a landlord, please give us your money. If you're the Andrea Wang who lives under the ground, please do not give us your money. But thank you either way. If you want to get up on this, go to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I want to bring on our guest. I'm super excited. I'm a little bit fangirling here. This person is a comedian, actor, writer. You know, I have to say, I can tell. I hope that they say never to meet your heroes, but this guy kind of my personal hero, and I've been watching him on we're on Zoom, and so I can see him. And a lot of times, our guests, they're busy.
Right.
But during that little banter Jenny and I do, you know, they'll be on their phone.
That is so real.
They'll take a shit.
Yeah.
They'll leave.
They'll leave.
They're generally not looking. And they're just kind of they're just waiting, which is totally fine. But this guy, he's been listening.
Active listening. He's participating facially.
I actually don't think he's blinked the entire time. He's just been looking at us, and it's great. And I'm very excited to have him on. Please give it up right now for Fahim Anwar.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. I didn't know the bar was so low to be like a nice human. Yeah. Like just to recognize you as people and not props.
Yeah,
like
we're constantly walked all over.
Us.
Yeah, no, it's you know, hey, I don't know, you're the LA guy, man. You know, I know everything's business. I understand it.
I guess, you know, my goal is always to like, you know, not let that happen, not let the cliche happen. You know, at the end of the day, it's, what's the point of getting all the success if you lose your humanity?
Wow, I didn't know. Yeah. Wow,
that was gonna do a lot of Professor X quotes or something. That sounds very.
What is the point? Are we even better than? Are we better than? Are we not better than them?
Eric, what are we if we don't address craft services? It's just Hollywood Professor Xavier.
Oh man! Well, thank you very much for joining us. We got a bunch of stuff to get through, and you know, we usually start off the show. Actually, you know what? I just want to give you the opportunity very quickly. I think you're great. I want to help you make sure you know our fans know who you are. If you want to just take a minute to talk about who you are, you gotta use the whole minute though. That's the only thing.
You can't go
under. You're forcing me to be Hollywood.
Go Hollywood.
You know, this is sort of like if I'm at a party or something, go.
Yes.
What do you got going on? You got any irons in the fire? What projects are you working on?
Oh yeah.
It's such a double-edged sword because, I mean, I like to downplay everything. You know, I talk to you guys. I'm a nice dude.
Yeah.
So like when people go, what are you up to? Any projects? I'm just like, I'm good, and I leave it at that. But then if you go the other way where you actually say what you're doing, you kind of seem like a huge asshole. If you're like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, I just was being nice saying, what are you up to?
Right.
But this is legit. Describe yourself in a minute.
Yes.
Please describe yourself in a minute. And you can be as big an asshole as you want.
Can we pretend we just got on the elevator at Netflix and the ride is a minute long? You go, I like the cut of your jib, young man. What do you do? It takes a minute to get to my penthouse.
Hey. How did you get into this elevator? This is a special. You know what? You must be somebody. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Fahim?
Yes.
Fahim?
Wow. This is such a great opportunity. Yes, I was allowed into the building. I didn't sneak in. But I'm a stand-up comedian. That is my main thing. I've been doing it for a long time, maybe 20 years, 21 years. I started when I was 18. And through that, I've gotten other Hollywood opportunities. I've acted in some stuff because of the stand-up. I've gotten some writing jobs because of the stand-up. But I always feel like I'm visiting Hollywood. So I do those things for a little bit, but then I go back to stand-up. I'm a club rat. I've been doing stand-up for a very long time. I never really got onto a CW show like Arrow or like One Tree Hill when I was younger, and they would send me on auditions, which in turn is great for me because I just got really, really good at stand-up, and I didn't have to rely on being like a CW guy. So now I'm like really good at stand-up, and then I don't have to do acting stuff that I don't want to do, and I'm kind of particular, and my profile's a little raised as a stand-up, but I could really use your help being exposed even more because your platform is dying, but it's still there's still value in it if you push it hard enough. Like if I get a special, it'd be cool if there was billboards and stuff in New York and LA. Like I don't want to do a special where it gets buried in the algorithm and stuff, because then that you might as well do YouTube at that point, which I've already done, but I want to do it again. It'd be cool to get like a higher exposure. So that's kind of like what I do.
Oh, wow. Well, it's been great talking to you. I will be leaving the elevator now. Security will meet you at the lobby. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, I blew it. I thought.
No, that was.
Can I give you my link tree? I have a QR code if you don't have time to type it in.
Just I saw my shirt.
QR
just
code
aim your camera
on my chest.
Yeah, just shoot it. Just aim your camera at me really quick. It'll just pop up.
Yeah, that'd be such a Hollywood. It'd be funny if you're like, it'd be such a Hollywood thing to get a QR code as a tramp stamp or something, or like on your chest like Tupac. Instead of Thug Life, it's just aim your phone at this.
Yeah. Hey, while you're back there, if you got a minute, just go ahead.
Right?
Take a look.
That's just good marketing. Like, yo, this girl, she had a QR code right above her butt. Or that'd be good for strippers too, right?
That would be great.
Oh my God, yeah.
You're like, oh my God, this chick's so hot. And then you see her butt.
Oh my God.
Like, QR code on each cheek.
Oh, shit, that reminds me. And
go
actually, if you go to the QR code, it's not even for her. It's like to Subway or something like that. It's just like a coupon.
She's like Andy Kaufman, just like just some weird meta joke for when the guy goes home and plugs it in.
Did they send you out to some CW stuff?
There's this trend I would notice. I think when you are a comic and you move to LA or New York, but I think there's more Hollywood stuff in LA, so this is kind of more of a story for LA. You're doing stand-up in your early 20s, but whatever agency you're with, that just seems like babysitting or going to the YMCA. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of a runt. So they send you on a bunch of auditions, and they kind of just hope you get on a TV show, because that's how they make quick money. They don't think you're going to turn into a great stand-up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like I think way fewer cases of that happen than hitting on a show. Yes. Because I think industry wants money now. They don't. Yes. They don't. They're not like thinking of you like like an index fund or something, or a bond. Yeah. Like a T bond. They're like, no agent's like, we're going to cash out on this guy in 20 years.
Yeah, there you go. It's going to be what's up, 3% per year. Mm-hmm.
No, they say, hey, we got you this gig for Insane Clown Posse, Gathering of the Juggalos. You're going to do 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the move. We like to start off the show with what kind of Asian were you this week? Jenny, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can go first.
Yeah, Jenny, what kind of Asian were you this week?
I was an HBO Girls Asian, and that's not me watching HBO Girls. I just have had a very busy week, and I've felt like I lived a very like girls life. Where I'm like out and about living life in New York. So I've lived in New York for 5+ years, but half that was like pandemic. And so I think it's just coming to the point now where I'm like, oh, I have like a life here, a community, and friends, and I like know people. And so it's been very good. I went to go see friend of the pod / an Asian comedian, Michael Cruz Kane's one-man show, which is fantastic. It's like about grief. It's very good. It's off Broadway right now. Very good. And then right after that, Delia, also a friend of the show, got me into a last minute hosier contest because she did a piece for him in Vanity Fair, and he like DM'd her and was like, do you want to come to the show? So I went to the Bowery Ballroom, which is very girls, and was like in the little upstairs. Yeah, it's still around.
I didn't even know. Okay.
Well, that was
upstairs.
like a subtle slam, dude. So that's still around.
That's still, people still listen to music.
You
It's still
rained
around.
on her parade.
How dare you? Yeah. And there were a lot of it was a very interesting crowd, by the way. I don't know. I don't listen to Hosier. I don't even know how to say his name. Take Me to Church guy.
Yeah.
He's very talented. But the crowd was very interesting.
Okay.
It was,
Ooh, yes.
yeah. But nothing super crazy. But Ed Sheeran was standing right. I was watching Ed Sheeran for most of it. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the show I was just staring at Ed Sheeran just to see how he's reacting.
Whoa!
That's
fresh
pretty
off
cool.
of his
Court
his
case,
win
right?
in court. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, his court case.
Attempted murder, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Exonerated. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That thing when he
So-
stabbed the jail guard, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but he's innocent.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it was really fun. I've had a very fun, busy week. I did something else, but I forgot what it was. Oh, I ran a half marathon.
Oh my god.
Did you?
I did run. I ran the Brooklyn half.
You like buried the lead. Most people would have.
I
most
know,
people would
right?
have opened with that. That's
Yeah.
how.
Well,
You're like a humble Iron Woman.
I fully forgot, to be honest. I think
She
I told
forgot
Mike.
that she ran.
Yeah,
a half
I
marathon.
forgot. Yeah.
I would have made it like a cornerstone of my personality for like a month and a half.
I did
Yeah, I
make
was
it
my gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like drinking gels in the
Yeah,
podcast.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just, I'm still recovering.
Yeah.
You know,
Sorry. Still, I need these
throwing
electrolytes
it
or whatever.
everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, I ran a half marathon. That was last week. And then I've been like out and about doing things and just feeling very like, I know people. I'm like living life. People just are getting me into things, that energy. It's been very cool. So
That's great.
That's my
amazing.
week. Yeah. Mike, what kind of Asian were you this week?
I've been a very jealous Asian. Okay.
Uh-oh,
So you
okay.
put out a lot of like Jenny like puts out a lot of sketch on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you've been, Dylan Adler is here in New York.
Yes.
He's visiting, friend of the pod. And
Stand-up comedian.
He's stand-up comedian, legendary guy, and he is he's in town, and so you two are.
Oh yeah,
like,
that also happened this week. Yeah.
Yeah, you totally forgot. You totally forgot. You're just living such a blessed life. Okay. I'm in the basement here. Okay, I'm working on the podcast. All right.
Yeah.
I'm smelting jokes. All
Yeah.
right, and you're out there hanging out with Dylan. And I'm jealous. Every time you have like a collab with one of our friends, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to collab with one of our friends, and I haven't even seen Dylan this whole time.
Yeah.
You guys are out hanging out. Our
Yeah.
other friend, Ben and Vic, like they were like out playing tennis. Meanwhile, I'm losing all of my melanin in the basement here, and I'm just
Right.
like I'm malnourished. I have an iron deficiency.
Okay.
And I just feel like I'm jealous. I'm a jealous person, and I'm really jealous too. I have to say that like it's fun to get together and do like to riff on a sketch. It's like fun to put to like meet up with someone and like let's do this stupid thing, and then you have to do all the I'm gonna film you, you're gonna film me, blah blah blah. And
it's one of my favorite
I think that's cool as shit. And yeah, that's it.
Okay,
There
well,
you
the
go.
only reason I don't ask you, Mike, is because Mike is the father of a 1-year-old, and
Yes.
he's just like busy. Like you have a full-time job, you have like a beautiful family that dresses awesome. Like your style is off the charts. Like you're living a blessed life. So I'm like, well, Mike's so busy. He doesn't have time.
I would give all that up just for one Instagram reel, every single thing.
One Instagram reel with Dylan.
Yeah, it wouldn't even. Yeah, just 5,000 views. That's all I even ask. I'm not even like a lot.
Totally. Wait,
Yeah.
can I say something about that sketch?
Which one? You did a few. You did a few.
I did a
the
few.
dumpling sketch.
The dumpling one, yeah. I posted a sketch this week about like how Asian people always leave a bite left, and it's really awkward.
Yes.
And so I made that sketch. Dylan posted on Twitter. Dylan's like, mildly Twitter famous. And then, so I go to Michael Cruz Kane's show about grief. I like, I'm not on my phone. I get out and I have like a bunch of texts, but they're all straight dude comedians. I was like, oh, this is so random that they're all texting me. It turns out that Connor O'Malley, do you know Connor O'Malley? Connor O'Malley like screenshotted his like Twitter, like for like recommended videos page. And it's a still of that video. And it's like my face. And then right next to it is porn.
What?
I actually saw that because I follow Connor. I didn't know because my eyes were distracted to the porn one. I didn't even see what the next one was.
Yeah, so I'm the Asian girl next to the porn. It's my face. And the number, and it's so funny because you know the type of person who follows Connor O'Malley. It's like all dudes and they're all texting me like, oh my God, LOL, like no fucking way. Like I just got so many of those texts.
Bro.
Yeah. And everyone's like losing their minds. And I was like, I didn't ask for this, not during AAPI month. I didn't ask to have my face next to porn, you know? So that happened because of that sketch.
That's a real accomplishment for Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Island. I'm looking it up right now. The thing for research.
Yeah, sure.
Gonna check this out. Videos for you. It would have been better if the porn was also Asian. That would have been a little nicer.
Yeah, it wasn't. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not AAPI month. Not AAPI month. Not now. But yeah, that did happen because of this sketch. So I guess. I don't know. Maybe that makes you more jealous. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Why did it? Oh, I see. Okay. Trending videos. Got it. You can put porn on Twitter now? Is that how you roll?
I think anything flies on Twitter. I always forget.
Is it cool now?
There's like, deep Twitter. And I go, oh shit.
There's no oversight anymore either. Like if there was any oversight before, there's like absolutely no oversight now, I think.
Oh my God.
It's almost
Everyone's
like
fired.
opposite. It's bizarro TikTok. Because you'll say, hi, how you doing on TikTok? And it's like, this violates community guidelines.
Totally.
It's crazy. I have so much stuff that just stays up on Instagram, but on TikTok, they're like, yeah, you said something slightly, offensive.
Yeah.
We're taking it down.
Do they pull your shit down all the time?
Sometimes. I mean, just
really?
they're because it slants so much younger on there. It's almost like I don't know, like 13-year-olds and stuff. So their trigger finger for removing audio or pulling down or saying something violates community guidelines, because that never happens on Instagram for me.
Oh yeah.
But on TikTok, like once a month, this video it'll just be like a regular stand-up bit that is fine in the clubs and it's not offensive, but it's too hot for TikTok.
But you know what? I feel we were talking about this, Jenny and I. We were talking about this. Just because if you read the comments, if you go through comments, I feel you get the sense of like the kind of people who are watching TikToks and Reels and all these things. And sometimes I think people don't know what comedy is. I'm like it in like a very
100%.
like sometimes I'll put something out and they'll be like, why is this guy talking into a microphone, just rambling? And and like they had never heard of stand-up comedy before.
Well, it's almost a digital version of when, if you've done college gigs, when you go out there, they're historically not great because they have no frame of reference. There's no culture of going and seeing live comedy shows. When you go to a weekend and do a city, it's all working professionals. They go see stand-up, so they know what it is. But when you do stand-up for 17-year-olds or the Hollywood Improv would do this thing called teen tours. So during the summertime, like a lot of rich high schools and stuff, they bus around the nation. And one of the stops is, we're going to go to a real Hollywood comedy club. So they're 13 and 14-year-olds at the Hollywood Improv. And it's just a show like you've never done. It's almost like you're a clown. Just well-constructed jokes don't work for 13 or 14-year-olds. Right. You have to be like, who's like, you guys got pubes? Just like, who grew their first pube? And they're like, oh my God. Because it's so exciting to them. Like they've never heard someone address.
Right. Yeah. So relatable. This guy's finally talking about things that matter.
Is she into you? Have you guys made out? Or like, who's the cool kid? Who's the cool dude? Then it's like doing up-close magic for 13 or 14-year-olds.
Totally.
He looks like my dad, but he's talking cool.
Yeah, that's so weird. I just feel like people don't know. I think this is what I'm learning because I'm in such a specific corner of the world, is that when like people see stuff that they don't understand and they take the time out of their life to like flag you or like comment, I'm like, this is so wild. Like, go live your life. Go eat a hot dog or whatever. Like, I just don't understand why you're doing this.
Digital snitches.
I like, and my stuff is really not offensive, and I've been flagged multiple times. I am doing the softest of comedy, and I'm always like, I can't believe I'm getting flagged.
Yeah, no,
because I pretended to be a white woman. That was what I got flagged for.
Oh yeah,
I made fun of like Gwyneth Paltrow. I was like, Okay.
She's our queen.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You could tell how young TikTok slants because on the comment sometimes, because I posted this a stand-up clip from my first special about like bees at a picnic or whatever, and then one of the comments somebody wrote, this is obvious, it must be a kid, I hope it's a kid, because he goes, one time I got stung by a bee. that was the comment.
Relatable.
Yeah, like this was bursting out of this person, like I should comment this. One time I got stung by a bee.
Yeah,
let me put this into the universe.
Right, that was like a 7-year-old who got a hold of TikTok somehow.
It would be funny if it was a 40-year-old. Like, okay.
Right, I think that's entirely possible. Fahim, what kind of Asian were you this week?
I'm going to piggyback off of the girls, but I'm going to be an entourage Asian.
Oh yeah. Whoa, that's very scary.
Well, we got flagged. We just got flagged.
No.
Yeah, we got
just
flagged.
It was too nebulous. I have to specify. I had a very Hollywood kind of week.
Really?
Kind of in the same vein. So
Yeah.
I mean, I went to a screening of The Flash at CAA. My buddies rep there, and they had a screening. So
wow.
I went to that. Supergirl, the girl who plays Supergirl, was like, hey guys, thanks for watching the movie. I'm going to watch it with you guys. Chris Pine was like a row or two above me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. That was a very Hollywood thing. And then the next day, I went to the Machine premiere, Burt Kreischer's movie.
Oh shit, yeah.
So then that
How
was cool.
That, by the way? That was cool?
It was good, man. Honestly, yeah. It was very exciting to watch.
There. Was he there?
He was there. He was there.
Fuck.
I think it's a great moment for stand-ups in movies because there's been a departure from, I think, plugging us into sitcoms and movies. And I think the success of this, we'll see how it does this weekend. But I honestly think it's really good. And if it does really well, then I think it opens the door for stand-up comedians with podcasts, because the podcast world is kind of an MCU of comedy. Right? You have Rogan, you have Tom Segura, you have Bert, you have R.H. Fear, you have Norman, you have Shane, you have like you have Bobby, you have Santino. It kind of goes down this tree of like, they're all in the world. You know what I mean? Like, they're all stand-ups. They're all friends. I know them from this podcast. Then this podcast gets recommended.
Yes. And
I think comedy has trickled down to the podcast space. Yeah.
Oh.
So then after that, so yesterday I went to Jason Nash's 50th birthday party, and that was just like a bunch of influencers. I felt so old.
What was the vibe in the influencer party?
I mean, kind of what you think it is. They're all like just like younger, cool people at this Hollywood nightclub. A lot of phones out, Gotta capture the content.
Gotta have the phone. Yep.
But it was cool. Said hi to Jason. I know him just through because he did stand up before he kind of like pivoted into more social media stuff.
Sure.
But it was a quintessential kind of young Hollywood type thing. I did the old Hollywood thing, and now I did the new Hollywood thing.
I see.
Yeah.
What do you talk about in those parties? Like, do you even have conversations?
Well, I'm already kind of a wallflower to begin with. So I kind of have an anchor that if you're my friend, I'm going to attach, I'm going to float. I'm just gonna, like, hang out with you. Yeah. So I did that. I think we met some other people who are kind of more around our age too. Just like, what do you do? Yeah. And then just kind of lay in the cut. It's kind of nice to go to one of those things and not be at a point in your life where you're like angling to network I'm not trying to use that place. I'm observing. It's like a zoo to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just sitting on a couch.
Yeah, there you go.
And this girl's like, I like your energy. And I'm like, okay.
Did you say that? Somebody really said that?
She did like the dude line. Because I have a joke about in LA, you have to, you can't walk up to a girl at Trader Joe's and be like, I think you're beautiful. I'd love to take you on a date sometime. Like, it's too creepy once she knows that you're sexually attracted to her. You have to couch it in this like mysticism. You have to be like, so I love your energy. Just something about, I just love your vibe. And then girls, a lot of LA girls will buy that. Like, oh my God, it's not about my looks, or he doesn't want to have sex with me. I just give off this awesome aura. It's like, it's very Venice Beach. Like, I just love your vibe, and your energy is exuding this stuff. We should get coffee sometime.
The way you say
she did it on me. I'm like, I know this. I invented I love your energy.
the way you talk about it, it makes it reminds me. I feel like LA. An LA woman like that's like the same thing that a Dragon Ball Z character is trying to do. You know, we're all just trying to give off a powerful aura. You know, in Dragon Ball Z, they do like the energy monitor. They're like, oh my God, he's level 3000. You know, that's like the same thing. I feel like you meet someone at Trader Joe's and they're like, that girl's level 3000 energy. Wow. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just sort of like nerfing sexual attraction because it's too heightened these days, and there's too much baggage associated with it, and people kind of have a knee-jerk reaction to you're beautiful, you're gorgeous. But if energy, it's like, that's like sexy adjacent.
Did you did it work on you? Did it work? What did you do? Did you go?
Look, it's flattering. Sure. Come on.
Okay.
To have good energy.
You're like, oh.
You're like,
it's just so funny. I feel you'd be like sitting on a couch. Like, what energy is this? This is like the worst energy. I'm at a nightclub sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
And she's like, I like your energy.
Yeah.
Lethargic.
Houseplant energy. I think that's cool. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. You did. That's yeah.
Yeah, it was flattering, but I mean, it was kind of, again, one of those things where it's fun to spar.
Yes.
Sure.
But I wasn't trying to convert it into anything.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's nice to be wanted, you know? Like, oh, okay, cool.
It is.
Especially when you're not trying. As a dude, that never happens.
Yeah. I feel that is the energy that people like as a dude. If you're not trying. If you're sitting there...
Yeah, maybe the energy that works for a guy is like sitting quietly in a corner. You know, that is like good energy. It's like safe.
That is a good energy.
Emo. It's like safe, you know, like
eating
you're not
chips.
Trying anything. Yeah, you look kind of like maybe bored.
Maybe. I always had this like fantasy of being a bartender at a nightclub because I feel like you're going to get the most chicks because you're the only thing not on the market that night. Every guy's on the prowl.
Right.
Everybody wants something from you. You're just like, what do you want?
Right.
And you're going to do way better than any guy at this nightclub just because you're not playing that game. You're just like, you're kind of bothering me. I got all these people here. What drinks do you want? And I think it's sexy for girls to know, oh, this guy's not even trying, or you want the thing that's not on the market.
Yeah.
And you're making money while you're getting hit on as a dude. Like, it just seems like all upside. I'm quitting comedy. I'm going to be a bartender at a nightclub.
Have you ever been a bartender? I was going to ask you. That's because I could see it being sexy like that, or you're just it's just a horrible, sad existence. One of the two.
Well, I think it depends what kind of place you're bartending. If it's like a sad alcoholic bar, probably less sexy walk up.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of alcoholics named Dolores talking to you. Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot sadder.
Then that's more fulfilling my therapist dreams rather than my Casanova dreams.
Yeah. Well, it does sound like you had a very Hollywood time, and I'm excited to talk to you because, listen, I do stand up, and I haven't been doing it as long as you, and I watch a lot of stand up now. I don't know if you do like this. I love watching stand-up live. I actually don't really enjoy watching a lot of stand-up, either whatever, streaming or whatever, a clip of it. That's not always true, but it's just like, I feel like it's gotta be a live thing. But your special that you put out, was it last year?
Yeah, like 8 months ago. I think May.
8 months ago. Yeah. Watched the whole thing, and it was just so fun. And it was like very unusual, I felt, for me to sit down and watch an entire special. It was just really nice.
Oh, that's cool, just like, dude. Thanks, man.
I thought it was really cool, man. And
especially from a comic, because we watch so much stand-up to sit through an entire special. It's
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know, because I don't, and now the art form is kind of like moved onto your phone, which is also like an even weirder experience, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I noticed too is that. And it's very subtle. Somebody pointed it out to me, and once they did, I realized like this is really something amazing. Your act outs are amazing. I don't know if people tell you. I think act outs, and I was trying to tell, for people who don't know, an act out is anything physical that you do that really sends the joke, right? Mm-hmm. So for a lot of people, if you're not sure what an act out is, it could be anything from playing a character that you're talking about to just like a funny face a person makes, that's the act out. And you have like amazing act outs. And I feel sometimes act outs are like not a thing. Not, I don't know. They're not emphasized as much as as now in the landscape as they used to be. I don't know if you ever feel like that, or if people ever say like your act outs are really good, because they're really good. They're just like they're just like little things. It's not like you're doing anything crazy, but you just got a little like whatever. You have a joke about being about like on a wall. If there's angel wings on it, women love taking pictures in front of the angel wings. And you're like, what if that was for a guy? And it's gotta be Wolverine claws. And you're like standing there, and you like do a pose, like a Wolverine pose. And it was amazing. It was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Thanks, man. I mean, I appreciate that observation. I have heard that from some other comics, like people zeroing on the act outs, and I think I just always been that way. Obviously, I've grown as a comic just with writing and all that. But even when I first started, act outs were always a part of my comedy subconsciously. Like if I write a joke or I'm doing a thing like a character, I could slip into the character. It just it felt natural to do the act out, and I'm a fan of them. I think we get so writerly sometimes, and I think okay, this has got to be the sharpest joke, but there's so much communication and conveying you can do with a look, or there's so much nonverbal comedy that can be happening, and not in a contrived way, but just knowing the meat and potatoes is the joke and the premise and the punchline, but act outs can be great seasoning to elevate the bit even more. Because sometimes I'm writing a joke and I'm like, okay, this is pretty funny, and then I just naturally would want to slip into the interaction or do a look, or I like the act out to be organic. Sometimes there's younger comics, you like mentor them, somebody see them on stage, and sometimes the act out, you can tell they just want to do the act out. I have a quote. I say, you need to earn the act out. If you've done if the joke, the foundation is worthy enough, then the act out makes sense. But sometimes you can see an act out where you're like, oh, this person just wanted to pretend like they were hang gliding, and they kind of formed the joke around that. So they try to reverse and engineer a joke around an act out or something. But I think there's real power in just the physicality and words and all that. And I think sometimes I wonder if I started in New York rather than Seattle and LA, because there's so much, the stages are bigger in Seattle and LA. So naturally I just had all this room to play with, and I wasn't confined or constricted.
That's so true.
But a lot of stages in New York, I visit there and I do stand up sometimes. It's almost like a milk crate. It's so low ceilings, the stages like that. So sometimes I wonder, would I be a completely different comic if I started in New York? Because you are kind of constrained spatially. And also there's a culture of just razor sharp jokes and like stand and deliver. And a lot of people don't even take the mic out of the stand,
Right. No, it's
nothing
wasted
wrong
time,
with
baby.
it, but it's like a different style. It's like East Coast, West Coast rap.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
Whereas Biggie did a lot of act outs,
Biggie loved act outs.
Like it's a one for one analogy.
Tupac was so tight with all his rhymes.
He was so tight. He was too tight.
I love that, and I don't want to suggest that your writing isn't good.
No, not at all. I didn't take it that way at all. But what's kind of cool is you become friends. The internet has really opened up the comedy community and podcasts as well. I think there used to be more of a division between LA and New York. And now with social media, everyone is kind of aware of everyone, and it's almost like summer camp. And now Texas, Austin is sort of a midpoint. So it has that comedy festival feel halfway between the country. So coming up, I would hear, like I'm friends with Mark Norman and Sam Morril and Joe List. And I'm almost like a duckling who's raised by dogs or something. Cause like they kind of see me as a New York comic,
Oh, interesting.
And I love that. I think that's really cool. Because I think there was this girl was telling me, Amy Hawthorne, she was booking, Amy, do you know her? She was booking New York Comedy Club, I think.
Okay.
But I know her from the Comedy Store.
Right. Yes.
She used to be there like for a couple of years before she moved to New York. But she told me, she's like, I was talking to Norman and someone else about like LA comics, and they were kind of doing generalizations and stuff. And then she goes, well, what about Fahim? And then Norman goes, oh, well, he doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Whoa.
So that was kind of cool.
Oh.
That's cool, man. That's always a nice, like, little, like, I don't know, cosign. You know, the East Coast gang is going to be like, no, he's cool. He's a good guy.
Especially for writing, because I love jokes. At the end of the day, I love jokes and writing first. And yeah. Well,
you did, you have, you do also sketch writing too as well. Mm-hmm. And I feel that's unusual. I don't know, in the sense that like, especially in the New York scene, there's like sketch writers and there's like stand-ups and then there's like improv people. And like never shall they meet or something. The fact that Jenny and I are like on the same podcast is like
I'm
causing
not a stand-up. Yeah,
she's not a stand-up. You know what I'm saying? So this is very Romeo and Juliet situation. Romeo and Juliet. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Exactly. So
it's gonna get violent later. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So it's like a different mentality. Like we have different kinds of mental illness. So it's like a separate,
different flavors. Yeah.
You go, how can I what's the best way to monetize my mental illness?
Yeah.
How can I get rewarded?
Yeah. Mine is more situational and kind of like dialogue between multiple characters.
Right.
Just all the personalities in your head. You're like,
exactly.
Okay.
See them on stage with multiple
but you
people.
You have both, and you said you're a stand-up first, but like do you do you ever like feel like how do those art forms sort of play off each other? Obviously they're interrelated, but
Yeah, I think I guess I'm fortunate that I grew up on sketch. I almost was aware of sketch before stand-up. I grew up on SNL and like Simpsons and Late Night Conan. After Tonight Show. Mm-hmm.
So, hell yeah.
So yeah, that was my comedy foundation before I found stand-up later in life. I think I was 17 or 18 when I became aware of stand-up. So I just get ideas throughout the day, and when I get the idea, I kind of quickly determine what the best home for this idea is. I go, is this a stand-up bit? Or I go, no, it's too wordy. I need characters to convey it. This is more of a sketch. So then I'll put it in a sketch box. So it's kind of like just servicing the idea. And I think I am fortunate that I do have the skill set to port it over to sketch. I love sketch, but to do well-produced sketch, it's so hard to do. They don't do sketch shows like they used to. I think You Should Leave is great. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
But I just wish that they opened up the doors a little more for that art form. But the internet exists, so you could do really quick and dirty, just playing both characters. People kind of like that. My take is right now stand-up is very en vogue, like specials and things like that, and where it's kind of like sketch is not cool right now, like because you can see it on TikTok or whatever, and so there's no like the Portlandias, the Key and Peels, the Amy Schumer, Inside Amy Schumer, like they're just, it's not a lot of places to do it other than I Think You Should Leave, I feel. And so I feel like there'll be an upturn at some point. But I do think it's interesting that you do both. I talk all the time about the SNL writer makeup. Now I'm getting really into it, so I feel bad for listeners. Get into it. But a lot of the people who are hired at SNL, a lot of them are stand-up comedians, and I think in part that's because the head writers are stand-up comedians. And I do think they're two separate skill sets. I'm like, I don't think writing something that's a sketch that's 5 minutes long on stage is the same thing as doing, a 15-minute stand-up set. Anyways, I have thoughts on it, and I think it's two different skill sets that are both like you have to work on both. And I just think it's interesting that right now it's the stand-up world that we're in. I think the pendulum keeps on shifting because for a while it was all like Second City, Groundling, UCB hires at SNL. Right.
And I think now we're going the other way.
Back to stand-up, because I got into stand-up because I loved SNL, and I was like, how do people get on the show? And I researched, they came from Second City, they came from Groundlings, or they were stand-up comedians like Sandler, Spade, Norm, Dennis Miller. So then I looked up both routes, and I go, oh, stand-up you could do on your own. You don't have to pay money. So that's why I chose to do stand-up.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then when I was younger, the pendulum shifted to sketch performers.
Right.
Improv really performers.
The Tina Fey era.
That's stand-up is, if you want to do comedy, it's the homeschooling of comedy, because you can just be at home and you could just do it on your own, You don't need to have
totally.
Like a team.
You get what you give. It's wholly dependent on how much you put into it. There's no, there is some politics and such, but like you don't need other people to do it. it's like golf, you know, it's just you and the art form kind of.
Yeah.
If you want to show up to the club, then you could do it.
Well, somebody who's like East Coast, West Coast. I've batted this around. The other day, I was on this podcast, and they took a picture for the gram and they put it out there, and they're like, "Oh, we're trying to talk Mike out of moving to California," and people took it as I'm moving to California, which I'm not. Mm-hmm. But I can't say that I haven't been thinking about it. A large part because I have a tiny version of me that is running around destroying things, and might be nice to have the space, but also at the same time I'm like, hey, maybe do I need to do this for my career as so I can have a bad career in New York, maybe I can have a bad career in LA. I don't know what it is. So but I don't know if you have any, as somebody who kind of seen both East Coast and West Coast, and you've been in this game for a minute. I don't know if you have a thing where you're like, if you're at X, maybe you should think about moving somewhere else, Yeah,
locations being dependent on your career are, I think, withering away. Even the mystique of New York, because I used to have this fantasy, of like moving to New York and then
becoming bartender.
It's almost like it's like an unlocked racetrack in Gran Turismo or something, right? Because like, okay, I've done LA, I'm at the highest level.
You're at the
New
next
York
thing.
is like a different looking LA.
Yeah.
Like, that would be great for my career. No one knows your trajectory. You can come into town. You're a seasoned comic. You're not a runt trying to get seen.
Right.
But then Instagram happened, TikTok happened, the clipification of comedy. It really doesn't matter where you are anymore. Unless you're not getting a lot of stage time. If you're not getting a lot of stage time, then I think go to a place where you get stage time. That's why I think Austin makes a lot of sense for younger comics because there's such a bottleneck. And I think in LA more so than New York. At least New York has the stages to support, that kind of base of comedians who want to go up. But and there's just less separation. I think you get discovered a little easier if you're good and put the work in Austin than maybe LA or New York. So some of the door guys from the store moving there, it makes total sense. But a guy like me, who's like so deep in it, and I get up at the store and all the major clubs anyway, it doesn't, like me moving to New York it's like a lateral move at this point. Yeah. Unless I want to do it for fun, just for the experience. But career-wise, the internet is the only place that counts. And you can do that anywhere.
Yeah. It's true. Things have really shifted.
Yeah, you could be anywhere. Think about it. Like the pandemic also opened everything up. We're becoming less physical location dependent. And the only place that matters is the internet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remote work
That's
for comedians.
Can you do your art? Like go to a place where you're allowed to do your art. You get enough at-bats and on stage, keep on crafting and then put your shit online.
You know where I think this might be the move because my friend did this? Iceland. You guys ever think about my friend moved to Iceland
to do comedy?
His wife is Icelandish.
Okay.
Icelandish. He's a New York comic. He moved over to Iceland because she had to finish her degree, and he had his skills as a New York comic. There was like there's one club in Reykjavik, and he dominated that club. Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
It's like if you imported an Africanized honeybee and brought that Africanized honeybee into a beautiful, pristine ecosystem. Yeah, that thing is just there to just destroy. So he goes there, he takes over this Icelandic club, and he was doing, I think, really good.
I just imagine there's like Icelandic comedians who are so mad at this guy.
Yeah.
This
taking the stage time. Yeah.
This guy can't believe it. I can't
was
do an
the top
Icelandic
guy. Then this he's not even Icelandic.
He's not. Where
what is
where
this shit he's talking about? I'm doing deep cuts.
Where are his bits about the Aurora Borealis? Where are they? I don't understand. How can you connect if you do not talk about how cold it is? Crushing it.
He's just a circus act.
All right. Well, I'm moving to Iceland. Thank you very much for that.
Nice.
That might be too much.
Okay.
Taken to heart. You could be anywhere. I don't know if that counts.
That's maybe not. But I wanted to kind of start closing out this podcast with a little debate. It's Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It's May 27th we're recording this, so this will come out after that, and people go back to not caring about Asians. But I wanted to have this little conversation. Somebody sent me the screenshot here. It's Minjin Lee, the author. She's great. She's been on the podcast before, and she has this thing. I think from the screenshot, it looks like this is on Twitter. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter very much, but it says, "It's May. Here's my wish." This is Minjin Lee tweeting. "It's May. Here's my wish. I wish with all my heart that Asians and Asian Americans would stop dunking on their moms and dads. Non-Asians only imitate what we say, thinking that we've given them them permission to make these absurd and harmful generalizations. Your mom or dad is yours." And then she continues on, "Everyone's experience of parenting or being parented is wildly distinct. Whenever I hear a Korean person saying Korean dads are blank, I find myself asking nicely, how many Korean dads do you know? Please allow individuality and humanity for us. Thank you and peace." Very thoughtful. Very. I see what she's saying. As comedians, it is our job to dumbify this and to see. I think the debate here is: should we go easy? Do Asian parents deserve a break? And
here's my take on this. Like,
okay, yes, there you go. Without
she's almost expecting an A24 Nuance take on Asian parents while on stage. Like, that's great for your FX show or award-winning. Paint the nuance, but like for comedy to be accessible, and like obviously stand-up is hyperbole. It's done in a loving way. It's not like my fucking Afghan dad. It's I love my dad. So whenever I do it, you could tell that there is this undercurrent of love. But the way you're going to relate to everybody is the funny things that another Asian person in the crowd will be like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Absolutely.
And it's not like, my dad is so great. He would buy me any school supply I needed, no matter what the price. He bought me a bike. Like, people crying.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Jen, what do you think?
I mean, it's interesting. I'm not doing stand up, so I'm not talking about it in that way, but I feel like in general, the major basic generalizations and jokes have been made. I'm just tired of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I think there's a lot of stuff where there is a little bit more nuance now, just because we've done all this stuff at the top that's like basic, like my parents made me study hard or whatever, or like they have trauma from a war. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a go-to joke, but like I do think that I would only ask for more specificity just because that's more interesting. But I don't know. I'm curious because like I don't really feel the same sentiment about like that Minjin's tweeting about. Are you seeing a lot of generalizations about Asian parents? Like, I don't feel like I'm seeing that as much anymore. Maybe I'm in my little bubble of like only seeing art that I like, but
I don't know if Minjin is replying to something she saw, like a stupid, TikTok somewhere or something like that. I could see that. I could see it being like, there's some thing about where, I don't know, making fun of, somebody's like making fun of their, Korean mom or something like that. And maybe that's what's triggering this. I sort of agree with you two. First of all, the key word that she uses is stop dunking on moms and dads. First of all, I will always, dunking on people is always good. It's always funny. To me, you have to dunk on people.
Well, you want layups?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want anything. You want to have just have it to be a really good dunk. The elbow deep dunk into the hanging from the rim dunk. Okay.
Yeah. So she doesn't like bad dunks. That's the thing. Dunking is good.
I think dunking is good. I think you got to dunk on people, and it's there is going to be, it's like you said, Fahim. You have to do it lovingly, right? It's got to be. It's like a really good roast, right? A really good roast. You're roasting the person deeply, truly, but because it's an honor to do that. Like, I'm thinking about you. Like, I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really didn't like your parents or something like that, or you really, you would just kind of cut them out of your life. You wouldn't want to think about it. But it's like, because it is, you're like occupying so many of my neurons. It's gonna like come out in this way, and I feel it's fun to work through your thing with your parents with like a very specific joke or what have you. So it could be good. Yeah, you just gotta find the right dunks. I don't know,
As long as it's a high quality dunk that comes from a place of love is the caveat that we've just put in from this conversation.
Yeah.
I just feel like people aren't dunking in this. Like, I feel like the tone of comedy has changed, especially talking about like Asian stuff has just become more nuanced in a very quick period of time, I feel.
Interesting.
That's my take on it, or at least what I'm saying is like, it's just becoming more and more specific and individualized very quickly. And the way we talk about at least our like cultures and things have become more nuanced in the last like 5 years. So I just see this dunking, like overall making fun of all Asian parents. I just see it less now, which I think makes sense.
I think we're allowed to be more nuanced now and be individuals, because I think traditional Hollywood, the only outlets there was like TV and film, and the only way to get that kind of platform was to be broad and to do these tired jokes. Right. That was the only way they would let you do anything.
Right.
But now, because of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that, so that coupled with this younger generation like Gen Z, they don't care what you look like. If the art's good, they fuck with it. Yeah. They don't need you to say, my mom is like this, or my dad, where you had to do that in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s to give you a shot, because the higher ups at these places would be like, oh, no one's going to tune in unless he's talking about his Afghan parents or his Korean parents. So if you're talking about just an American experience while being in a minority shell, they're like, no, we'll get that from a white guy. You're not the person we get for this POV.
Right.
Whereas it's very inspiring and it's very cool to see people like Rich Brian, just people, it's good. I don't care what the fuck you look like. Like, think about Eminem, how good he had to be, and what an uphill battle for him to be accepted in the hip hop world. It wasn't a foregone conclusion, but that was a watershed moment. But in traditional Hollywood, it was so hard to happen.
Right.
But because of the internet now, kids just like good shit, and they don't care what you look like. Like Lil Nas X, that would be a kiss of death in the 90s.
Oh, totally.
You couldn't do that.
Sure. No,
so I think it translates to comedians and people like us and the art we do, where when people pull us up on TikTok, they're not like, okay, he's got to address why I'm looking at a brown guy. He can't talk about his day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, I feel now anyone, anywhere can be flagged for their content. And we all have equal shot.
It's really
equal. Being flagged.
That's all I wanted. I just wanted the same shot as any other race to be taken down from TikTok.
Yeah, that's all we want. A level playing field. To be shut down.
To violate community guidelines. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, I think that's great. Minjin, just more. If I don't think she listens to the show, she has more important things to do. But she's great. And it'll be very interesting. I'd love to hear what people have to say. If you're listening, and you can watch us on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, leave us a comment. I love reading the comments. They're always great. And if you're on Spotify, you can leave a review now. Actually, it's kind of crazy. You can leave a review. And you can subscribe to us, and same thing on Apple Podcasts, of course. Tell all your friends about the Asian Not Asian podcast. It's good times. Real quick, wanted to say thank you again to Fahim for joining us on the show.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
This has been truly a pleasure. I'm out. We know a lot of the same people. We've met a lot of the same people before. Where can our fans find you and your work?
I guess, let's see. On Instagram is just my name, Fahim Anwar, and then fahimanwar.com. I'll have some tour dates on there. And I have a podcast, Dance Hour. You told me earlier you checked out one of those. So just go fahimanwar.com, I guess. And then the special. I'm really proud of the special. It's so cool you saw it. It's called Hat Trick. I filmed it at the Comedy Store in all 3 rooms. Tarantino makes a cameo. I mean, very cool. He happened to be in the crowd.
That's amazing.
So yeah, just type in Fahim Anwar hat trick or just hat trick stand up into YouTube and it'll come up. Yeah.
It's truly great. It's a really great special. I watch it literally all the time. Probably too much. I shouldn't have told you that.
Thanks, man. The Fuse TV thing, down. I should probably plug that. I think they set this up. You know, I wanted to do the podcast. Right. I wanted to do the pod regardless of the Fuse TV thing, you know? Like, I think just being Afghan and what you guys do on the podcast, I think it paints a nuanced picture of the experience we have in America where we could be three-dimensional. So I was excited to do the pod and talk to you guys. But I mean, Fuse did, I think, reach out. So there's that show, We Need to Talk About America. So check that show out.
It's a super, super interesting show. It's about basically first generation, second generation comedians just talking about the crazy shit that's going on in America. And as you can imagine, there's a lot to talk about. So check that out again. It's
Dumbfounded is on it. Jesus Trejo.
Dumbfounded is on there. Exactly.
Some other great comics as well.
It's great. Again, it's called We Need to Talk About America. It's on Fuse. You can always check us out. Excuse me. You can always check us out on Instagram at Asian Not Asian Pod, and I'm on there at Nice Pants Bro.
And I'm at Jenny Arimoto.
Again, please come check out our stand-up show. That's Hack City. That's second Friday every month. If you're ever in town, we'll love for you to drop by.
Yeah, come by.
Let me know when you guys are in LA too.
Absolutely. I come out a fair amount. And so I'll let you know. And then again, if you're in San Francisco, I'll be at the setup June 22nd. So come say hi. I think that's it. Jenny, anything else?
Nothing else on my end. Covered all the bases.
We covered everything. I will be next time Zooming from Reykjavik, where I have taken over the comedy scene.
Whoa.
So it's going to take 1 week, Mike.
Yeah, is your friend going to be so mad that you're fucking encroaching on his... It's almost like the mob. Like, hey, man, you're cutting into my business.
Hey, man, these pale people are mine, okay? These are mine. This is my island.
He's going to move to Greenland. Like, he's going to move somewhere even more remote and then start a stand-up scene there. Yeah, Reykjavik's
so boring.
Over.
Yeah, God, now I'm moving to... I don't even... Are there cities there? Okay,
that's a good idea, though. Just like move to a remote place and just be the Richard Pryor of this underserved stand-up market.
Absolutely.
You're like
Superman. You're like comedy Superman. You're Kal-El who just landed in Greenland.
All right, guys. We love you. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.